Do you have questions about MLA citation? GTC Libraries has you covered. Today I'm going to show you the MLA style writing and citation research guide to help with citation in your papers and projects. We will be going over 3 different objectives today. 1, the MLA style writing and citation research guide examples for 4 common types of sources, including in-text citation examples. 2, what to do after you find sources in GTC databases that you'd like to use in your paper. And 3, formatting your works cited page in a Word document. Once on the GTC Libraries homepage, under the GTC Libraries ribbon, you'll find the Research tab. Click on this tab and then on the Research Guides link below. There are many research guides available, but because we know what we're looking for today, we're going to search by subject and scroll down to the Citations and Style Guides. And we'll choose the MLA Style Guide. In the second box on the page, the Citation Help Resources box, you'll find links to style manuals and other great resources, including an end-of-paper checklist and a sample student paper that you are free to download or reference while you write and proofread. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the menu for the guide. There are citation examples for many different kinds of resources you might use in your paper, but we're going to focus on 4 specific examples today: a physical book, an ebook, an academic journal article, and a magazine article. Before we get started, please remember that all of the punctuation, periods, commas, quotation marks, and parentheses, italicized portions of the text, and spacing that you see in these examples is part of the correct formatting for MLA citation style. To begin, we'll look at books. The first example is of a physical book with one author. The works cited list example looks like this: the author's name in last name, first name format, followed by a period, the title of the book with subtitle if given, all in italics, followed by a period, the edition of the book if given, followed by a comma, and the publication information including year, followed by a period. Though there are examples available here, I will be going over in-text citations specifically later in this video. For a book in print with 2 authors, the only difference in citation format is in the author portion of the citation, with the first author's name in last name, first name format, but the second author's name in first name, last name format. Notice that the word "and" is spelled out. Do not use the ampersand, the "and" sign, in your citations. For a print book with 3 or more authors, you'll type the term et al., Latin for "and others," after the first author's name. Notice that there is a period at the end of AL. Then continue creating your citation with the rest of the book's available information as you would for a book with 1 or 2 authors. For an ebook with 1 author, the citation is much the same as for a physical book, the difference being the inclusion of the ebook version information, such as Nook, Kindle, or EPUB. For example, the author's last name, first name, the title of the book in italics, the ebook edition, use ED period for edition, and the publication information. If you are using an ebook from a library database, the example looks like this: author's last name, first name, the title of the ebook in italics, the edition if given, the publication information, and the name of the library database. An ebook with more than 1 author will follow the same format as a physical book with more than 1 author. If you are using an ebook from a website, the citation looks like this. Author's last name, first name, the title of the book in italics, the edition if given, publication information, the website name, the website address, and the date you accessed the information in day, month, year format. If you are using a source from an anthology or collection, the citation example looks like this. The author's last name, first name, the title of the short story, essay, or article in quotation marks, the title of the book in italics, the words edited by, followed by the editor or editors' names, the edition, if given, the publication information, and the page or page range used. A source with a corporate or group author puts the corporation in the author portion of the citation. The rest of the information in the citation is the same. Second, we'll look at journal articles. In the first box, you'll find tips to help you figure out if you're looking at a journal article or not, because articles can be found in magazines and newspapers too. A very important part of a citation entry for a journal article is the DOI, Digital Object Identifier. Most journal articles have a DOI attached. This is a permanent link that is specific to that article. More on where to find DOIs later in the workshop. For a journal article from a database with one author and a DOI, the citation looks like this. Author last name, first name, the title of the article in quotation marks, the name of the journal in italics, publication information including volume and issue numbers, the date of the publication, the page range, the name of the database in italics, and the DOI. Notice that the DOI address actually has the letters DOI in it, so there's no uncertainty about whether you've got the DOI for your citation. For an article with two authors, remember that the authors' names are separated by the word and that the second author's name is in the first name, last name format. If there are multiple authors, 3 or more, use the first author's name, last name, first name, then the term et al. The rest of the citation is the same as an article with one author. If the article does not have a DOI, the database does have a permalink that will generally come as part of the starter citation. If you're using an article from a website with no DOI available, at the end of the citation, insert the web address and the date that you accessed the information. Last, we'll look at magazine articles. As with journal articles, here are some tips to tell if you're looking at a magazine article or not. And because magazine article citation is much the same as with journals, we will just go over one example here. For a magazine article from a library database with one author, the citation looks like this. Author's last name, first name, the title of the article in quotation marks, the title of the magazine in italics, the page range, the name of the database in italics, and DOI if available. Not all magazines will have a DOI assigned to them. Now let's look at in-text citation examples. In MLA style, in-text citations are inserted in the body of your research paper to briefly document the source of your information. In-text citations point the reader to more complete information in the works cited list at the end of the paper. Every in-text citation should have a corresponding works cited entry and vice versa. For both direct quotes and paraphrases, a signal phrase can be used to introduce the information. In-text citations include the last name of the author, followed by a page number enclosed in parentheses at the end of the paraphrase or quote. But if you refer to the author's name in the signal phrase, you do not have to include the name as part of your in-text citation. Only the page number needs to be in the parenthesis at the end of the quote. Your signal phrase. Hunt explains that mother-infant attachment has been a leading topic of developmental research since John Bowlby found that, direct quote, children raised in institutions were deficient in emotional and personality development, close quote, page number in parenthesis, followed by a period. Notice that the period goes outside the parenthesis at the end of your in-text citation. When you quote directly from a source, enclose the quoted section in quotation marks. Add an in-text citation at the end of the quote with the author name and page number. Mother-infant attachment has been a leading topic of developmental research since John Bowlby found that, direct quote starts here, quote, children raised in institutions were deficient in emotional and personality development, close quotation marks, with the author's name and page number in parenthesis with a period after the closed parenthesis. Paraphrasing is putting a direct quote by another person into your own words. Paraphrases don't need quotation marks, however, just because you are rewording the quote, the idea still belongs to someone else, so always cite the author in the body of your paper. If the direct quote is, quote, mother-infant attachment has been a leading topic of developmental research since John Bowlby found that children raised in institutions were deficient in emotional and personality development, close quotation, the paraphrase could look like this. No quotation marks. Mother-infant attachment has always been on the forefront of child developmental research since the time that Bowlby discovered that personality development in kids is lacking when they are brought up in children's homes. Open parentheses, Hunt 358, close parentheses, and end with a period. For long quotes, you'll use what's called a block quotation. If your quote extends to more than 4 typed lines, it should be put into block format. There are 4 rules that apply to long quotations that make them different from shorter quotations. 1, the line before your block quotation, your signal phrase, ends with a colon. 2, the block quotation is indented half an inch from the rest of the text, so it looks like a block of text. Press the tab key once at every new line. 3, there are no quotation marks needed when using block quotes. 4, the period at the end of the quotation comes at the end of the last sentence, as opposed to at the end of the actual citation. Example, signal phrase, at the end of Lord of the Flies, the boys are struck with the realization of their behavior, colon, no quotation marks, insert your quotation and put a period at the end of the last sentence instead of at the end of the in-text citation. Then insert the author's name and page number in parenthesis with no period. Now we'll move on to what to do once you've found sources you'd like to use in the GTC databases. First, an example of a journal article found in one of our Gale databases. Gale is the database provider, not the name of the database itself, which is Opposing Viewpoints. In bold text, you see the title of the article. Below that, the author and publication information, including the DOI on the right. Below that, you have what is called an abstract. The abstract is a summary of the article and is great to use if you don't have the time to read the entire article right this second. But again, the abstract is not source material, it's a summary telling you about the source material. You will still need to read the article itself for complete information and quotations. Again, you may not cite or quote an abstract. Once you've read the article and decide that you are going to use it as a source in your paper, you need a starter citation. To do that, look at the top right across from the search bar at the tool icons and choose the Cite tool, the quotation marks. You want to make sure that you're looking at the MLA 9th edition, and you can highlight it with your cursor or click Select, Control-C to copy it, close out the citation box, and then click on the Email tool, the paper airplane icon. And you are welcome to choose any of the cloud drives to save the citation to, but I would also email as a failsafe. So click Email, fill in your email address in the To field. The subject line has the title of the article already in it. And in the message portion, we are going to press Control-V to paste our citation into the box. So as you can see, all of the formatting leaves the citation once you paste it into the box in the message portion of the email. This is why it's called a starter citation, and you always need to check with your Bedford handbook to make sure that the citation is correct once you've pasted it into your Works Cited page. Make sure the PDF button is chosen under Send As, and then click Send. If you need the permalink for this article, it can be found by clicking on the Get Link tool, the chain link. And again, press Copy, and then you can paste it into whichever document you would like. Do not use the address found in the address bar of the website. It is not a permanent link, and it will change every time the page is accessed. So always use the permanent link. Next, we'll look at an example of a magazine article in one of our EBSCO databases, Academic Search Premier. Again, EBSCO is the name of the database provider. You can find the specific database name below the published in information and database, Academic Search Premier. Below that are the access options. Click on Access Now, and you can read the full text of the article online. In the upper right-hand corner are your tools. To get your starter citation, choose the quotation marks. This is a citation tool. And in the drop-down menu, you want to make sure that you choose MLA 9th edition. And you can either highlight it and press Control-C on your keyboard or click Copy to Keyboard. And then to email this article to yourself, you can choose the share arrow, choose email, Type your email address into the Send Email To box and click Send. To get the permalink for this article, still in the Share menu, choose the Share arrow and Create Link, the last link on the left. And then you can copy and paste this link into your preferred document. Again, do not use the address in the address bar at the top of the page because it is not a permanent link. Lastly, we'll look at an example of a magazine article in one of our ProQuest databases. This database is called eBook Central. In the middle of the page, you'll find the book title and the description. On the right side of the page, you'll find the publication information. And on the left side of the page, you'll find the tools. You'll notice that there is no email tool, but you can copy and paste the starter citation into the document of your choice. The citation tool is the last icon in the list. It looks like a dialog box. Click on it and notice that it says MLA, but what it doesn't say is the edition of the MLA handbook that's being used for this citation. Again, this is why it's so important that you check your starter citations with those in your Bedford Handbook, pages 312 to 365. After you copy and paste these into your works cited document. And as you see, this citation also has no formatting at all, but that's okay. We're about to move on to formatting your works cited page. In this example, I will be using a Microsoft Word document to input my works cited. The works cited page is the last page of your paper, and it is its own page, so it needs its own centered title. Next, we'll start formatting our sources by putting them in alphabetical order. Highlight your sources, only the sources, not the title. And then you're going to go to the Home button on the menu up in the left. And we're going to look at the Paragraph menu. Here you'll find the sort function, A to Z with the arrow. We want to make sure that ascending is chosen, and then we'll click OK. And as you can see, the works cited moved too, so we'll put that back where it belongs. So now your page is in alphabetical order. And after that, you can format the spacing along with what's called a hanging indent, where every line after the first line of a citation is indented. So again, you'll highlight just the citations, go back to your paragraph menu, but this time we're going to go to the little arrow on the bottom right-hand portion of that menu to open it up all of the way. Under indentation and special, we're going to choose hanging. And under spacing and line spacing, we'll choose double. And then we'll click OK. Now that your works cited page is formatted, we're going to read through the citations to make sure the information looks as it should. Word doesn't like to break up web addresses, so that is why it looks like there are so many more lines than what you started out with. In the first source, because there's no author listed, the title is used in the author portion of the citation. And even though the title begins with the word the, because the is an article, it's alphabetized by the next word, in this case, prose. In the second source, notice there are two authors. The first author's name in last name, first name format, and the second in first name, last name format, separated by the word and. And notice in this starter citation, the title is not capitalized as it should be. So we'll need to go through and capitalize the title. And lastly, notice the DOI at the end of your citation. And looking at our last citation entry, everything looks good. So your works cited page is done. Thank you for watching GTC Library's tutorial video on MLA citation. If you have any questions, please reach out to one of your librarians. Our contact information can be found on the GTC Library's homepage.